Okay, hello and welcome to OnShape. This should be the second video. I'm assuming by now you have already created your account, so you should see your name up here. And what I'd like you to do is navigate to this specific project, I guess. So since I already have it open, let me start over. I'll click OnShape, and you want to go to public here. And I'm going to search for Connect for number 2. This is just something that in my browsing I thought would be a fun project to have you try some things on. So here it is, Connect 4 number 2 by this person. So if you click on this, actually, sorry, I'm using number 2 as an example. You're going to need to search for Connect 4 number 3 to complete your worksheet, and that will say that in your worksheet. But regardless, what you're going to need to do to complete your worksheet is complete these steps I'm going to show you here, but on this part, if that makes sense. So the part that you're going to do is the Spider-Man face. What I'm going to do is the actual spider logo. And again, these are just fun things I thought would be fun for you to learn how to navigate around OnShape. So first, these are the features, just sort of like the model browser in Inventor. If you don't want to see your work planes, I don't really like to look at them right now. I'm going to click the little eyeball right next to it. And now you can see you only see your actual object. You can also turn off the origin if you don't want to see that dot. And there we go. All right, so one thing I want you to notice here is this is just like the model browser in Inventor. There are multiple sketches that made this part up. So there are 3 sketches. And then we have 3 extrudes. You can see if I hover over this, it'll tell you right here which sketch is referenced by that extrude. Right, so extrude 2 uses sketch 2, and no surprise, extrude 3 uses sketch 3. Fillet obviously doesn't need a sketch. You can see that's just the fillet in the window. So for this one, we have 3 sketches, three extrudes, and a fillet. So I guess you could say 4 actual features. Now this is the rollback bar. If you want to roll back in history to see how the part was made, that would just show you that's what the sketch looks like. They must have added an image to trace just like we do in Inventor. There's your sketch that's now being shown because it's not consumed, right? And so this sort of just, it's like walking it back in history. We've done that in Inventor, so it's very much the same. So I'm going to drag that back down. One of your questions asks you to roll the part back to a certain level. So I would like to see you roll it back to a certain level and then snip an image. Okay. The next skill I would like you to know is how to measure parts in the software. Assuming you have this menu bar open, you can just click here on measure. You could also just click on a specific entity. So if I want to know the diameter in here, I can just click that and it will show up here. This is not always the only information you want. So if you want more information, you can click up here and it'll show it here in this bar. If you want to know the distance from 2 separate surfaces, I could click. If I click one time, it'll just tell me the area. If I click a second time, it'll tell me the parallel distance between the 2. If I click up, it'll give me some more information such as area and so on. The 2, I also want you to notice on my mouse shows me that I have 2 items selected. If I click another time, you'll see there's a 3 next to my mouse and so on. You don't have to hit shift or control to multiple select. You just keep clicking. So if I click again, it's going to unselect those items. So I'm not hitting shift or control, I'm just hitting click. So you can see I'm selecting more than one thing. After you get above 5, it just says 5 plus. All right, if you want to deselect everything, just click somewhere else or hit the escape button. Okay. Now you might have noticed my screen just changed. All I did was I hit the X that was over here. So if you have the tabs bar open, you might want to close that so that if you notice when I was measuring things, I couldn't see it very well. Now when I click here, well, there's not much more to show there. Let me do that. And if I click this, now you can see the 3 things, and this bar doesn't get so much in your way. Okay. So that is how you measure an item. Make sure that you're getting what I'd asked. So I basically asked you to measure a certain item. Let's see, what else? The other thing I would like you to do is go into an extrusion to see how you can edit it. So I'm going to double click on an extrusion here. And you can see it tells me what I'm extruding. So it tells me here that I'm extruding faces of sketch 2. And the depth of the extrusion is this 0.175. If I hover over, it actually gives it to me in millimeters as well. And this was where you would know that you're removing instead of adding. If you want to add material, you would change this to add. I cannot actually change anything right now because I don't own this part. This is a public part that was made by someone else. If I wanted to actually make changes, I'd have to make a copy of it. Okay, so that's how you know how far an extrusion goes or how you could edit it. Lastly, section view, I think is very important. You can click on this button or you can get to the same thing by coming down here and say turn section view on. A section view, if you remember, is basically the way you look inside a part. So if you want to look inside this part, you have to pick a plane to tell it where you're cutting. And let's pick the front plane. It does not need to be visible to do that. And now you can just hit the green check and this shows you what the part looks like. It's not all that interesting of a view right now because we happen to cut through right at the legs. But that's how you do a section view. If you want to turn that off, you can just simply click that or come here and end section view will be one of the options. So this was a view. The section view was a view I asked you to also snip. And that's it. The other thing you might want to explore is you can edit sketches. So this is just like an inventor. There's your circular sketch. And so on. There's the next sketch. And that's it.